from our heart, living from our core, living from our power, we all get more. We are powerful women.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alignment Summit. I'm Sue Erda. I'm your host for this event, and I love it. I am so honored to be able to speak with these incredible authors, these 20 women who are the co-authors of the book, Women Living in Alignment, which is a collaborative anthology that's coming out on November 2nd. And I'm so excited. I know you're here because you want to meet them, you want to hear from them, and because you are on your own journey of alignment, getting aligned with your own soul purpose, getting aligned with your heart, your mindset, all of that, so that you feel better in your life day to day, moment to moment. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And I'm happy today because I get to speak with Amy Brock. She is one of the authors I mentioned to you. I'll read a brief introduction of Amy, and then we'll start talking with her. Amy Brock is a medium, teacher, and the Eye of Heaven, which means Oma in Greek. In seeking a home for her psychic mediumship and counseling roots, she founded her professional practice based in psycho-spirituality. Since 2013, she has been a flame keeper, change maker, and pathfinder. She is an enabler practitioner and loves working her magic to build a thriving community for conscious living. As a healing facilitator, she builds super highways to love and is deeply passionate about serving her clients globally. Amy's sole purpose is to modernize relationships with the divine in ways that work for today. Amy, I'm happy to welcome you. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me. I am so grateful to be a part of this collaboration on alignment and living in that purpose. So yes, let's talk about it. I love it. I'm so happy.
Me too. Me too. And I love the title you chose. When the door closed, I opened. And I know you're going to talk a little bit about that. And I know there are a lot of people saying, yep, me too, or they're still waiting for something to happen. They're looking for the opening. So we'll talk about that. But I would love if you would talk to our audience first about your journey on how you became the Oma.
Yeah, so it's kind of a winding road, but I started out, my college career. I studied social work, clinical social work. So I thought I was going to be a therapist originally, in mental health, and then some life path, choices brought me to a different path, which is described in the book, very detailed. And I ended up owning a medical spa for several years and took a detour from traditional therapy career that I thought I was going to be engaging with. And then during, the years of that experience, I began to converse and perceive spirit around the age of 35. So I had experience of the spirit world since I was a little girl, but because of my conservative Christian background, there was a lot of fear around what that would mean, or I didn't really have anyone to help me to understand it. So I just pushed it off and pushed it away and pushed it away. And then I think I kind of snuck myself into therapy world to kind of read people, but didn't really know that's what I was doing. I just thought I was a darn good therapist. And then life took me into this other journey, into this medical spa and this beauty environment for a while. And then through that and several crises that happened through my business and my personal life, it kind of made me a deeper seeker every time with what was the next path. And so there was doors and there were things that were closed and there was no's that were given to me. If I was going to be a therapist, that stopped. If I was going to own a business, that stopped. And then yes, the answer was yes when I figured out I was a medium. And so, basically the story describes the trials and tribulations, so to speak, and the experiences that brought me to this connection to my third and final career, where I am the most fullest evolved form of myself and the most fulfilled. And that led me to trust in the spirit world and let the spirit world kind of take the wheel. And here I am today living in New York City. Just joined a radio show in the morning, and I'm kind of allowing my life to unfold as a healer, which has been an incredible journey.
Wow, that sounds great. Everybody has their own journey, right? And we all face challenges. What challenges did you face along the way to become the Oma and who you are today?
I would say the challenges that I most faced were my own judgment. It started out with judgment of others, by judgment of myself, and really being driven by the ego in the sense of fear-based, which is survival-based. I was living survival-based for so long. I was living in the need to control so much. I was needing the approval of my family and others to be okay into what I did. I was also seeking a way to heal myself. So, I felt like years of therapy and being in therapy and being a therapist, I thought in a lot of ways I was really sorting myself out along with my story of my family, but coming into getting a vocabulary and a dialogue that allowed me to understand mental health in a way from a personal perspective, but from a family perspective and from friendships that allowed the opening for consciousness and for awakening. So, gosh, the struggle of awakening is a big one. It was years of involvement from, being a teenager that was troubled and going through a divorced family that was kind of chaotic to, my body, just, judgments of my own body, my image, a lot of perfectionism that I struggled with. From performance-based love and trying to perform to get people's approval. And even that carried on my medical spa, just how much money can I produce? How much success can I create? Because that's going to legitimize me in some way and get the approval that I'm good enough, from others. And so that was the path for my teenage to, early young womanhood into my early 30s. That was that. So it took until I become so desperate to be conscious and to have relief of that suffering model that I had kept of trying to prove myself over and over again, this perfect form that just was that was endless. It never stopped until one day I said, okay, God, what else do you really want to use me for? What did you create me for? And then the answer came and I started perceiving spirit. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing something very unexpected. It was not the answer I expected. I didn't think, hey, I'm tired of being a spa owner and a therapist to, you're going to talk to dead people. I did not, that was a complete anomaly answer that was not expected. So when you ask and doors shut and you say, all right, open a door for me, you got to be willing to hear what the door is that God gives you because it might be a surprise. So I would never, imagine that this would be my destiny. So, yeah.
Yep. And yet here you are. And, it's interesting that you say this and what you're doing now as a medium, right? The world is very skeptical. Just a lot of people are very skeptical in general. They have doubts about everything unless you can prove it to them, show them, it's a show me world. So how do you trust yourself in a world like this?
Well, I will tell you, I've logged many hours on the floor of my office or bedroom crying and asking for confidence and bravery and courageousness to do things that everyone thought was silly or illogical. And I would say it comes through a lot of practice of faith. And I've been through so many circumstances where I literally had nowhere else to go but to the divine. And I often say, if it wasn't for the troubles that I experienced and feeling like I was so alone for so many years, going down, trying to figure out my life and what was going to bring me joy, ultimately, there were so many times where I was literally physically alone, mentally alone, and I say that if I hadn't felt so alone, I would not have sought out the metaphysical. I would not have sought out the invisible place to connect to. Because there are a lot of times that was all I had, was just to go to God, just to go to the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Like that was the place that I developed and understood me. And so that really is what I believe we all have got to do, is we've got to kind of walk that path to see what is me in my own energy and my own beliefs and my own hearing and knowing through whatever it is that you believe in.
And just how do you shut out the voices that are there, all the noise of the rest of the world and people who are skeptics, maybe your family, whoever that is?
For sure. I mean, I had family members who thought I was a con artist and a liar. And I've had, from a religious perspective, this is questioning, the patriarch and, it's questioning Christianity. I mean, there's so many things where it challenged traditional beliefs, but to trust yourself is to feel that gut feeling, is to feel that heart fire, that burn that says, I don't even know what it is yet, but I know it's something. So sometimes it just starts as I don't know what it is, but I feel that there's something moving me. So it's literally just acting on that feeling of trust repetitively. So it gets to where it gets so loud and gets clearer that your ability to trust and your ability to have faith gets louder and louder. And I'll be honest, it comes down to this. You have to speak to yourself so that you're the only voice that you hear anymore, that you don't hear other people's voice anymore. You just hear your own. And that takes you going to prayer, going to meditation, going to consciousness of show me, surrendering to levels unlike you've ever believed, which just means I have zero answers, universe. I have zero understanding, but I'm asking for you to bring me something. Okay. Wow. And it starts in small things. Like I would start with things like, hey, I just need a parking spot today when I go to Target because I don't want to get stuck here for 2 hours. Show me that you know that I have this need, and then I would get a parking spot. Or, I was literally just putting together this workshop that I'm doing in January, and I was thinking, gosh, I've got them at this, hotel around the corner. And I said, all right, spirit world, this is silly, but I was struggling about the transportation of like getting them where I'd like them to be. And then I heard, well, the solution is, put them on the light rail and then have them come 3 minutes of the road. I was like, oh my gosh, I literally just asked the spirit world, what's the solution? Then right then there was an answer just popped in, like, it's this. And I was like, oh, thanks. Because the problem that most of us have is we just don't open our mouth. We don't open to ask. And it can be something as silly as, bring me a parking spot, or tell me how to navigate this situation, to what do I say in this moment to myself, or give me the words. I often say, give me the words.
Yep. That sounds great. So that's part of developing your intuition. So there are people on the call right now that are probably thinking, and I'm saying that's part of it, you tell me, but if somebody on the call wants to develop their intuition, they want to be more in touch with their own stuff, their own voice. How do they do that?
Well, one, you have to decide that you are allowed to have a voice. That's the first thing. Am I allowed to have a voice? Am I allowed to have my own thoughts? Am I allowed to have my own belief systems? And two, it's after you said you can, it's sorting out the ones that are not yours. So often I would say, make a list of the belief systems of you, your dad, and your mom, and decide, where do we all fall with money, sex, God, relationships? And you can make a column for everyone and say, okay, mom feels this, dad feels this, I feel this. See whose voice you're carrying around. Are you a mixture, or are you theirs and not your own? And then say, gosh, well, do I really believe that about money? Do I really believe that about relationships? Do I really believe that about God? What is my beliefs? And then you need to identify what is yours. And then once you get your construct of what is your own voice, because a lot of times we don't realize we're walking with these subset tapes of unconscious belief systems that are really creating our reality. So you've got to say, A, I can have a voice. 2, what is my voice? What do I believe? Okay, great. I'm clear on that. Now operate from that place that I do believe the universe is here to inspire me and to love me and support me. I don't need to fear it. Maybe your mom taught everything is, you need to be in a suffering mode. You need to, get your worthiness together to be receiving of love. Is that mom or dad? Was that me? Do I believe that? Have I been operating that way? Like, getting clear on that. And then the last step is literally, it's simple. Pray, be a seeker, see what is seeking you, like literally what is around me. Something with me is I had for years this belief I'm supposed to be married, have a baby, and all these things, and I've got to do these things because that's the traditional model of womanhood, or being a contributor to society. And really has been a big struggle. But there has to be the point. But do we surrender what we thought was the model, or the facet of what we thought we were created to do? Or do we ask to say, you know what, God or the divine, I'm open to what I really was created for. Maybe it's not a traditional pattern. And you can look in your history. When I actually evaluate my life, there was not a traditional pattern at all in any of my life. Okay. Who's a business owner in their early 20s? Not many. Who is a therapist and becomes a medical sport? Doesn't make sense. There's not a logical path. Who runs a multi-million-dollar company at 27, 20 years old? Nobody, not many. So it's, I'm now in my 40s, still not married, don't have any more children. Like, I've followed a path that was my path. We think it has to look this way based on society, beliefs, religion, whatever. But when I allowed to say, hey, you know what? Let me just accept the path that the energy is flowing me to. What comes easily to me, what comes comfortably to me. We often focus on the one thing we think our ego says we're supposed to have. But if we observe what really is landing in front of us and say, where are the opportunities? Where's the energy building? Allow that to lead us. Then the answers will come as to where we are. And in the book, I talk about how I thought it was X, and then I thought it was Z, and then I thought it was this, but I kept getting threaded to something else. I was pulled from one closed door to another. And it's not always clear at the same time. Like, you have to take things by steps. I would have never imagined I'd go from therapist to business owner to medium. Like, how does that all three make sense? But if you listen to the story, it actually weaves beautifully together. I just couldn't see it at the time because I didn't understand it, because our egos, our mind won't understand what's not logical, because it was not a logical path. So following the illogical and saying, I don't know what next step is, but I know what this step is in the present moment is the key. And that's following your intuition. Well, I don't know what the next step is, but what is the step right now? Is it rest? Is it health? Is it developing deep divine love with myself? Is it releasing something? What is today's step? That's where we start. And if you don't know, ask God, ask the divine, ask the spirit world, ask the universe. What is my today's step?
That's good. I love that, because you're right. We think way too far ahead. We think maybe, they say, oh, think big, you have to have the whole vision of the whole thing. And that's true. You might want to have something ahead, but what is the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? That is the beauty of the intuition. And just that question could be, I'm a huge fan of questions. That's a perfect question to ask in a moment. So that's great. Thank you. Amy, you are obviously a woman who is living on purpose. What are you most proud of? What do you feel really good about in your life?
I would say what I'm most proud of is that I took all the damn risk, every single one. And I will tell you, they weren't clear that it was a good choice at the beginning. But even when we take risk that bring us pain or suffering, I always say that in some way, God will make it beautiful if you allow it. So I took the chances to endure. I took the chances to practice resilience. I took the illogical moves, the financial risk. I said I would always bet everything on myself. And I have, and I've done it, and I've continued to do it, and I still do it to this day. And so taking risk on you, especially when you're the only one that's cheering you on, that's what I have mastered in my resilience. Every time I bet on me, every time. And that woman, I said to that woman that I trust you, I love you, and I believe in you by taking risk on you. And there's something healing when you can do that for yourself. When you can say, when everybody else says, no, this is not wise, or this is not smart, a way to spend your money, I freaking always stood up for her and said, I'll go for you. I'll go for you. I'll warrior for you when nobody else will. That is what I'm most proud of. I'm getting emotional, as you can see, like, wow, I really stood up for her. I did the work for her. I took the risk on her. I invested my time on her.
Beautiful. And so that's an invitation, I think, for anybody that's listening to do the same for themselves.
100%.
No question about it. Yeah.
100%. I mean, we had just talked before on this call about, I took a trip, and I've been doing this for the last 4 or 5 years. Every year I take a trip, and it's a lot of money to invest, to go, and I travel the world for a period of time. And I've just got back from a 3-week experience where I traveled to 4 different countries for me to spend time with me and to do the work with me and to see the world through my own eyes and to, work in some capacity in my gifts and understand what the spirit world has to say to me alone on a walkabout with myself. And we don't have to necessarily all, travel the world to have that experience. I'm fortunate that I have the time and the availability to do that. But, we can take a journey and a walkabout around our neighborhood. We can take a journey and a walkabout within our mind and dreams. We can take a journey and just a road trip for the day. For you to say, what do I need to do? And I do believe a journey and a choice to take a journey and to see what is there to teach you something is very key. To see what is the world expressing to me that I need to see in a pattern form or in a feeling form or in a sound form or in a visual form, to allow ourselves to have that magic be creative for us and to observe things. I think that's critical.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Spending time with ourselves, for ourselves is so great. So Amy, what doors are opening, or what are they, what's opening for you now? What's in front of you?
Well, what's wild is many years ago, it's really crazy. I, had my beauty salon, my medical spa. And when I came to this moment of seeking, I asked for a shift. And several years ago, I got in the New York radio market, and it brought me to New York City, which where I live now. And what's crazy is at the time, things grew too fast, too big. I couldn't handle all the attention and all the opportunity. There's sometimes when opportunities come and you're not ready for them, by the way. And it's okay to dabble in it and test it out to see if you really even want it. And I did that. And then I took a step away, and then I built my practice in Florida. But when I decided to take the risk in January 2020 to come to the Manhattan area, but I sold everything I had. I sold my house. I gave up my practice in Florida. I said, I'm going to start over again. in this area and go big and go home when everyone thought it was illogical, too expensive, and not really intelligent. I said, well, I'm going to bet on me, like I just told you I have. And I came here and been preparing and building and writing and getting an infrastructure and a team around me to support me so I can step even more large into my calling and more vastly to reach more people. So now I just got put on the radio again 2 weeks ago with a radio that's a #1 New York syndicated radio channel to build, again, a public profile. And I'm so excited that that is synchronizing when the book is about to launch. And so that is exciting. And, I was on BuzzFeed, which is a major show with YouTube this summer. And it's like everything is synchronizing. As I prepared the work, the public opportunities are coming and things are developing for me to get my message and to help heal in larger masses, because I'm just one person. I had desired to say, okay, I want to get from just the individuals to the influencers and to the people that have influence over many, so I can get as many people as I can. So with the vehicle of this book, the radio, other exciting events that I'm putting together, I just feel like I'm unstoppable right now with what my reach and my availability to share and to serve in spirit. So that's what's exciting. There's more movement in the public eye, which is so exciting.
Really great. I love it. And so here we are, we're talking about alignment, right? This is the Alignment Summit.
Yeah.
For those listening, what would you say is the key to being aligned and thriving spiritually?
I would say the #1 key is to trust. See, with intuition, to develop intuition, to get the knowing, you have to trust. And beyond the trust, the bigger key, the hidden secret, is to have an intuitive gift. You have to have really high self-esteem. If you don't have high self-esteem, you're not going to trust the messages that you're getting. So the #1 thing is a spiritual, an intuitive, a medium, a psychic, an empath, a healer, a teacher. If you don't darn trust yourself, you are not going to trust the messages you have to relay to people, which means you have to hear your own knowing, your own clarity. So that's the key. I mean, you have to, when someone frustrates you or doubts, you have to decide, this is a moment where I lower my vibration and my frequency to believe in the judgment or the control or the constriction, or am I going to let this be a self-esteem moment where I rise in my self-esteem and determine my own value? See, people do not give you your value, you determine it. So when you have a judgment, it's decide, do I trust me? Do I trust my knowing? I do, then our intuition can rise with that self-esteem rising, and bam, we've got some really incredible information to share with the world. That's how we do it.
Trust and have faith. That's it.
Yeah,
really,
it's really that simple. It is. I really say as a medium that my rule, it's not, I mean, people think, oh, okay, I talk to people that are ancestors and people that have passed away. But to be honest, the real life hack and the real truth is that I'm a teacher of faith, because I have to have faith to believe that there is a spirit person that's going to walk into this office right now and have a conversation with me to give you a message from someone. That requires full faith. That's a possibility, and that I can really be a witness to a miracle as it happens. I mean, that's legitimately how this goes. It's a faith building career. It's not a magic and spells and witchcraft career. It's a faith building career. I have to have faith. I have to surrender. I have to trust, and I have to go into a level of confidence and self-esteem that allows more of that to come and to build stronger, so that my gifts can get stronger. The more faith, the more trust, the more expansiveness spirit will allow me to hear better and to know better and to give better. That's how that goes.
That's great. I love it. Well, Amy, this is great. We could probably talk all afternoon, but we don't have time anymore. So please, though, I know that there are people that would love to reach out to you after this, learn more about you. Please tell us how we can do that.
Yeah, so I would love for you guys to meet me on my website, which is theamybrock.com. And there, if you go in and you log into my website and you register your name and your information so we can communicate, or you can keep up with our newsletters, there is an opportunity for you to get a cosmic calendar for 2023, which means you leave your little information, we converse. But not only that, automatically, just by coming on the website, you'll get to have this cosmic calendar. It gives you the moon cycles, Mercury retrogrades. It gives you some tips of how to work with the solstices and the equinoxes, as well as understanding the energy flow of the year, which will help you be more efficient and hopefully productive and abundant and in alignment with the energy, which will help you be in alignment with yourself. You know, if you know that you're a summer person, then you breathe the energy of the summer, no, summer's gonna be your best work. Or if you're a winter person like me, that's when I thrive. So that cosmic calendar will help you. So it will be your guide for 2023 if you come into the website and register.
Beautiful. TheAmyBrock.com. Well, Amy,
Nice.
thank you so much. I so appreciate you. I love the messages that you share. The overall message, the biggest message for me was trust. Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
Absolutely.
So thank you for
Absolutely.
doing that. Thanks also for your story in the book. I know that people will love reading that. Thank you for that. And thanks for being a part of the whole project. We appreciate you and your energy.
Thank you for providing this opportunity to offer so much great support to so many women. And I hope this will help in some way.
It will. It will. Thank you, Amy. And
Mhm.
listeners, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving yourself this gift, because I know that you are on this journey of alignment of your own. And so opening yourself and listening to these women and their stories and the tips and guidance that they have is just going to be great for you. So continue to listen to the summit. Be sure to go to our website, womenlivinginalignment.com, on launch day, November 2nd, and we'll guide you to your Amazon page for whatever country you're in. We have a 99-cent Kindle launch on that day. So if you're into Kindle, perfect day to buy the book. Otherwise, you can purchase the paperback. So we look forward to hearing from you. Reach out to the authors. They would love to hear from you. Thank you for living in alignment and being your beautiful self. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.